So many people spend their whole lives chasing happiness, believing it lies in a bigger house, a larger farm, more wealth, or the perfect partner. And yet, even when those dreams come true, the heart can still feel empty. Why is it that the more we get, the more we still feel something is missing? This story of three brothers shows us that true happiness is not about what we gain, but how we see what we already have. Once upon a time, in a quiet village near a dense forest, lived three brothers, Roshan, Sammy, and Damie. Their parents had passed away, leaving them a small cottage and a modest life. They were known in the village for their honesty, hard work, and kindness. Each day, they went into the forest to cut wood, then carried the heavy logs to the market to sell. Their lives were simple, yet their hearts often felt restless and incomplete. One chilly night, the brothers sat together by the fire. Roshan, gazing into the flames, broke the silence. "What is the true purpose of life? Why do I feel empty?" After a pause, he added, "I think I'll finally be happy when I have a big, beautiful house." Sammy slowly nodded. "I want a vast farm filled with crops, so we won't have to work so hard every day." The youngest, Damie, smiled softly. "I just want a loving wife, someone who waits for me when I return home each evening." Though their wishes were different, their feelings were the same. Despite having enough to live, none of them felt truly happy. One evening, while returning from the forest, they noticed an old man sitting by the roadside with a heavy basket beside him. His face was weary, his hands trembling. Without hesitation, the brothers rushed to him. "Grandfather, can we help you carry this basket?" The old man smiled gratefully. "Thank you, sons. It's full of apples I gathered from the forest. My house isn't far." The brothers took turns carrying the basket. It was far heavier than they expected, and the road stretched long and tiring. Yet not once did they complain. By the time they reached the old man's home, their bodies were aching, but their hearts felt strangely at peace. The old man's eyes glimmered with warmth. "Your kindness will never be forgotten. Hard work and sincerity always bring blessings. Now tell me, what is it that each of you desires most?" The brothers shared their dreams honestly. A grand house, a vast farm, and a beautiful wife. The old man thought for a moment, then said, "Your dreams are not impossible. In the neighboring town lives a wealthy businessman who values honesty above all. Work for him, and opportunities will open before you." The brothers seized the chance. They traveled to the town and began working. Roshan, with his sharp mind, quickly impressed the businessman and earned enough to build his dream house. Sammy, skilled with land and wood, won the trust of a local landlord who gifted him fertile land to farm. Damie, with his gentle heart, captured the affection of the businessman's daughter and soon married her. For a while, life seemed perfect. Roshan lived in a grand house filled with fine things. Sammy's fields stretched endlessly with crops. Damie had the wife he had dreamed of. Their lives sparkled with joy, at least on the surface. But as time passed, cracks began to appear. Roshan, surrounded by servants, grew lonely in his vast house. What once felt like a palace became an empty shell. Sammy, burdened with managing a large farm, became restless. Each storm, each pest, each risk filled his nights with anxiety. Damie, once enchanted by his wife's beauty, grew weary of her constant complaints, and their love began to fade. The emptiness they had once known returned. Their dreams had come true, but happiness had slipped away. On a cold winter morning, desperate for answers, the brothers set out to find the old man once again. After a long search, they found him by the fire, warming his hands. Seeing him, they felt a brief comfort. "Grandfather," Roshan began, his voice heavy with disappointment, "we achieved everything we wished for, but we are still not happy." The old man looked at them with a knowing smile. "Sons, happiness does not come from what you gain. It comes from what you feel. You have wealth, land, and love, but you have forgotten gratitude. Without gratitude, happiness will always fade away. The brothers sat in silence, realizing the truth. Learn to be grateful, the old man continued. Gratitude turns a simple meal into a feast, a small house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Happiness is not in chasing more. It is in cherishing what you already have. The brothers returned home with lighter hearts. Roshan no longer saw his house as empty, but as a blessing. He welcomed friends and neighbors, filling it with laughter. Sammy began to appreciate each harvest, seeing every grain as a gift. Damie rediscovered the beauty in his wife's smile and nurtured their love with patience and care. From that day on, they lived differently. Not because they had more, but because they learned to be grateful. And in gratitude, they found what they had been searching for all along: true happiness. So remember this: happiness is not hidden in wealth, property, or even love. It is found in gratitude. When you appreciate what you already have, happiness will never leave your side.